이제 해외에서 뛸 때 그런 어떻게 제가 빨리 이 상황에 적응하고 하는 게 가장 중요하고 그래서 조금 더 한국 선수로서 이제 책임감을 가지고
2002년도 월드컵에 우리 이겨서 다 밖으로 나갔잖아. 기억 안 나? 잠 안 자고 다 TV 보는데 옆 사람들 한국 사람들이잖아. 집에서 소리 막 질렀잖아.
For me, at least, as a Korean, when you hear that, I get goosebumps. So can you imagine how the players feel? That's the reason why we were able to go as far as we did in 2002. I believe that's why.
Obviously, we represented Korea in Asia, so we always take a huge responsibility. Me and Minjae same. I think as much as he take so much power to Korean nation, so do I. You know, I represent Korea, so want to do always the best thing to the Korea, the country, and to make the people happy as possible.
This is getting framed right away.
Koreatown was like more in stages. So you had like really big cafe booms. So everybody went to a coffee shop and they just hung out. Or maybe because I was just so young, I couldn't drink. Everybody would go to a coffee shop, just hang out. And then after, when it's like the sun comes down, everybody else goes out to drink. But around like 2008, like 2010s-ish, this is like, there's people everywhere just walking. And I'm pretty sure you're part of that too. Like,
I mean, because Koreatown is the second most dense Korean population outside of like Seoul. So if you're living in the US and you're a Korean outside of LA, when you come here, you're coming to Koreatown. If you want Korean experience but not go all the way to Seoul or Busan, this is where you come.
previously when they had Olympics, all of this was starting to get gentrified too.
Yeah.
So like again, back then, my mom was talking about this is all like dirt land.
Yeah.
When the Olympics first happened in LA, they started building all these high rises. And it's pretty cool because to bring different cultures on, you see more historic buildings. So like a lot of the architecture, it's not really just like your plain architecture that you
Right.
see here. Like I think Koreatown has a lot of creativity that doesn't get really
Yeah.
recognized. But I feel like they have everything, all the ingredients.
통영에서 태어나서 경상남도에 자랐고 중국에서 2년 반 그리고 4년 반 전에 유럽에 진출해서 여러 곳을 거쳐 오셨는데 혹시 본인에게 집이나 소속감이라는 개념을 정리하기가 어렵진 않으신가요?
뭐 지금은 여기에 이제 미네에 살고 있고 또 미네라는 팀에서 이제 생활을 하고 경기를 하고 있기 때문에 뭐 소속감이나 뭐 집 같은 느낌이 드는 거는 당연히 이제 독일이고, 왜냐하면 저는 유럽이랑 다르게 어릴 때부터 숙소 생활을 했었고 이제 집에 있던 기억보다 나가 있던 기억이 더 많기 때문에
나의 이름은 홍효숙입니다. 미국에 와서 애니 홍으로 바뀌었습니다. 나는 한국에서 1985년 1월에 여기에 왔습니다. My son coming maybe after 30 minutes sleeping.
That's okay. That's okay.
한인타운을 먼저 왔어요. 한국 사람들이 많이 살으니까 여기에 살면 편할 것 같아서요. 새로운 세계니까 너무 재밌어. 진저 플라워. 처음에 내가 배운 저 책을 가지고 미국 집에 갔어. 나를 하이어해달라고. 근데 이렇게 보고 깜짝 놀라는 거야. 헉, 이렇게 잘하는 거야. 너 내일부터 여기 일해 이랬어. 그리고선 내가 그 가게에서 일을 하는데 아, 꽃집을 하면 되겠다 생각했어. 비즈니스로. 그래서 가게를 집 앞에다 냈잖아. 옛날에.
Every area that you could think of in LA, I was venturing out to find a job, and most of the time I failed. But if I didn't have this home that I called Koreatown at that time, I don't think I would have got the courage that I needed to keep doing it. And eventually I got a job in a streetwear store called SUR, SSUR, and they were in West Hollywood. because of my experience as working for that streetwear brand, eventually I was able to open up my own brand called R Rose, shortened for Ray Rose, my name, but Rose is my mom's name. I get all of my inspiration from all of her stories and what she has done for me and my sister. She is a single mom, and she brought my sister and I to this treacherous journey of being immigrants. Really started from nothing, and from the concrete, and now we're here. And she's a rose that grew from concrete.
We still have immigrants coming here, and so they might face the same challenges that our parents face. And it's almost like there's no need for time travel. You could just kind of go around and see so many different people within that same timeline. And I'm pretty sure people who've been here longer, they kind of see their timeline within us. I think those are like the moments in philosophy that my mom was mentioning. Like, when I speak to my mom about like deeper things, she's like, "When did you learn that? We didn't read a book. I didn't read a book at Howard School. All of it is through just like life experiences." I feel like as children of immigrant parents, like we're the only representation that our parents have to really like give them credit.
Right.
Because the reality is they're just gonna continue to work, continue to provide for us, and hopefully see that we have a brighter future that they couldn't have.
Right.
And it's it makes my heart do things that I don't want.
I know.
지리적인 의미의 고향이 뮌헨이 아님에도 불구하고 바이에른 뮌헨이라는 구단이 당신에게 집과 같은 편안함을 주나요?
뭐 그러니까 제가 지금 이제 계속 머물고 있는 이유기도 하고, 여기 있는 모든 사람들, 뭐 선수들, 스태프들, 선배 코치님들, 이런 분들, 그리고 또 밖에 있는 일반 팬분들까지 다 그렇게 편안함을 주시는 것 같아서 그런 걸 느끼고.
인케이스 만약에 내가 여기 정착을 못하면 가야지 하는 마음은 있었지만 살아보니까 미국이 좋아서 여지껏 살게 되었습니다. 처음에 왔을 때는 여기에 내가 그러니까 여기 살아야 된다는 그 마음이 있기 때문에 막 모르고 세월이 막 지나갔어. 모르고 세월이 지나갔는데 그래도 여기가 엔바이러먼이 더 좋다 생각하고 여기 사는 거야. 미국에 온 사람들은 다 가족이랑 떨어져서 온 사람들이야. 그래서 조금 슬픈 마음이 속에 있어. 왜냐면 패밀리랑 떨어져서 여기 온 게 슬픈 거지.
Being apart from her family and having to come here was it's sad. Now hearing about it too, it's pretty sad.
아름다운 추억이 항상 내 마음속에 있어. 그래서 그 사진을 어느 때 가끔 생각해. 옛날 일을.
I've realized later in life that it's better to spend time with her rather than being like younger and I didn't know what to do.
근데 얘도 부모가 여기 아메리칸 사람이 아니고 이민자기 때문에 너도 고생했어.
She's saying, but she understands that because she's an immigrant too, that I had a hard time.
Different generation, different culture. James and me, and 나는 immigration. 얘는 is born here and different. I know, very stress. I talk to her, study. I'm working out, just to look. No together. Yeah, very hard. Yeah. The immigration people의 그 뭐라 그럴까 difficult.
That's
moment,
she's saying that's probably the most difficult thing for a immigrant parent is on being unable to be with the kid too long because you have to go out and work so much. 포기하지 않다는 거는 항상
나는 그렇지만 포기 안 해. 기다리면 온다라고 생각해. 비즈니스는 한국 사람은 한 번 안 되면 두 번, 안 되면 또 세 번, 네 번. 그게 한국 사람의 그 특징이야. 그러니까 말하자면 아무것도 모르고 너무 용감하게 한 거야, 내가.
yeah, she just blindly decided to start a business and she said I could do it. We're here today.
무식하고 용감하게.
She's saying 무식하다는 거는
아무것도 모르는 거. 아무것도 모르면서 그냥
ignorant and
용기 하나로. 용기.
just ambitious. Just ignorance and ambitious led her to.
그리고 나는 할 수 있다.
In Korean, 무식해 means stupidity, but I don't want to call my mom stupid.
이제 해외에서 뛸 때 그런 어떻게 제가 빨리 이 상황에 적응하고 하는 게 가장 중요하고 그래서 뭐 개방적이기보다는 빨리 여기에 문화에 적응을 해서 이제 제 상황에 맞게 이제 잘 하는 게 중요하다고 저는 생각하고 있어요.
I was able to continue to grow my brand because of my support from the Korean community. My brand is not a Korean only brand, but because I'm a Korean myself, there's no way I cannot include Korean inspired pieces. And a lot of my pieces are Korean inspired. This is a Korean flag that I made in 2018 when I went to Russia to support the Korean men's national team for the World Cup. Throughout that journey, I made so many friends and we link up every 4 years at the World Cup. What started out as just a journey to, support my team now became almost like a tradition in my life where I reconnect with my friends from all over the world. This kind of kickstarted for me to even have the courage to make my own brand. And because of people's support, people really loved this flag. It was covered by a lot of the news channels, big social media accounts. I had a whole hashtag. It was called Follow the Flag. This Follow the Flag was everywhere with me in Russia. I went to all of the Korean games at the World Cup. I was able to meet Son Heung-min at the team hotel and got it signed.
Yeah,
Oh wow!
great.
Wow! Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think I remember the picture when I see it. Obviously, yeah, it was I think in our base camp. So he came to the base camp. Was waiting. I think before when we have a meal or training before we go to the training. So took a picture, and then it was always a nice feeling. And then you always take a time for the fans, huge fans, and obviously we represented Korea in Asia, so we always take a huge responsibility. Me and Min-jae same, I think, in the same way as when we was kids, and then try to be good example for the Asian generation and for the Asian young kids.
뭐 팬분들은 잘 모를 수도 있지만 이제 저 말고도 다른 유럽에서 뛰는 선수들이 이제 노력을 많이 하고 있고 이제 운동장에서 최선을 다하고 있기 때문에 많은 응원해 주시면 저희가 또 좋은 성적 그리고 좋은 퍼포먼스로 보답을 하도록 하겠습니다.
Wow!
Yep.
Hey, Min-jae Kim! Let's go! What does it mean for me to see Kim Min-jae on the back of a Bayern Munich jersey? I've even never thought about this happening. And I've been a football fan since I was a little kid. So this is a huge, this right here is a stamp in Korean football history that you can make it too. You can do it.
이제 코리아. 2002년도 월드컵에 우리 이겨서 다 밖으로 나갔잖아. 기억 안 나?
She remembers. She's like, oh, we won and everybody went outside.
밤 12시에.
Whoever didn't watch soccer at that time started watching soccer. And that's when I started watching soccer.
잠 안 자고 다 TV 보는데 옆 사람들 한국 사람들이잖아. 집에서 소리 막 질렀잖아.
We live in a house, but there are old houses, so the soundproof isn't good. But every house next to us, they all turned on their TV. Everybody's
골
screaming.
하나 넣으면 소리 막 지르고.
Yeah. So like 11, 12, sometimes 3 in the morning, you could hear people yelling, getting outside of the house yelling in celebration.
For me at least, as a Korean, when you hear that, I get goosebumps. So can you imagine how the players feel when they know we're saying all of this for them to run a little bit harder, to make that tackle, to score that goal? That's the reason why we were able to go as far as we did in 2002. I believe that's why players like Kim is successful as he is, because of that type of support. And I know that if we're loud, they're gonna run a little harder. If they run a little harder, we're gonna score that goal. And if we score that goal, we're gonna win. And when we win, all of us will win. But that's just it's just a dream.